Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Hey guys, me Host Superstar, thank you very much for tuning in. So today I want to talk to you about the action figures that I want to see created for the Ghostbusters Plasma series. Now this is an upcoming line from Hasbro. We know that the first wave basically is based on the first movie. I'm guessing they'll probably go through the second wave, second movie. Then we might guess with the female Ghostbusters, there may be Ghostbusters Afterlife. Or they might start mixing up the waves like they did with Power Rangers. But either way, there's a lot of Ghostbusters content that they could use to create characters. So I want to run through my favourites on who I think they should use in the line to have new Ghostbusters characters. A lot of people are thinking, yeah, probably just a bunch of movie stuff. And no, there's actually a rich heritage for Ghostbusters, right from the comic books to the movies to all the backstory and stuff. There's so many characters we could get. So I've chosen what I would consider a mixed batch here from comics and movies. And even the cartoons. So let's go ahead, guys, and take a look at my choices of who I think Hasbro should create as a part of the Ghostbusters line. Okay, first up, guys, is Dr. Krueger. Dr. Krueger is I believe, a level 7 ghost. He's from the IDW Comics Answer the Call, which I believe is based on the female Ghostbusters timeline. Dr. Krueger was the main sort of villain for that, as well as the Ghostbusters Annual for 2018. And he's a mad scientist obsessed with fear. But he's a very obscure-looking character with his top hat and his big mustache and beard, and with the glasses and stuff. I think it would create a very unique-looking character that I think would do very well in the actual in the toy line. And with it being based on the female Ghostbusters, but it being a comic book character, it's kind of one of those in-betweeners characters that would go with a female Ghostbusters line and with the comic book line. So it's got multiple collector's value there for me. And again, it was one of those villains that stood out for me in the actual comic books as being one of those ghosts that, like, yeah, I could see that being created as a toy. And I think it would be really cool to see that one recreated as an action figure. Second up, guys, is Dr. Janos. I would love to see them create him in the second film. The painter, well, is he the curator of the museum or something like that? But it would be cool to see him get recreated as an action figure. Obviously, they need the likeness from the actor, but I could see them doing it where it looks normal in the light, and then you put him in darkness and his eyes glow red. That would be really cool. Do you remember that scene when he's walking around the apartment complex and his eyes are glowing red? That was really cool. He also had a multitude of different abilities when he was possessed as well. Like he could like fly and stuff like that. So it would be really cool to see that recreated as an action figure. And I think it's quite an iconic character that most people would want to see created. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Number 3 on my list here is Gertrude Aldridge. She was the ghost inside the manor house in the female Ghostbusters movie. From I believe they call it Answer the Call, that one. But yes, it was the lady of the house that told the story and stuff, and then the door opens and all that good stuff. It's the first ghost that the female Ghostbusters see. And I really liked that ghost, especially because the fact that we could have the regular figure and then have the alternate head with the scary face on it to give it the ghost look. I think that would be really cool, and I think a lot of people would buy that, especially if you made it like translucent blue and you could add, well, either they could have a light with it to make it glow, or I'm pretty sure customizers out there will be adding LED lights to it to make it glow, because that would be a really cool character. Imagine if they made a bunch of lines like based on these figures, and they made all the ghost ones translucent that glow in the dark. That would be even cooler. But yeah, I would love to see that character recreated as an action figure, because when I remember seeing her in the cinema, and that whole look was just amazing, and then she looks really sinister, and then changes her face into that really big animated face. That'd be so cool to have as a secondary head. Number 4 on my list is a figure that is from the IDW comic books, but is also from the video game, and I believe he's going to have some impact in the Afterlife movie. I'm not sure if anyone caught it, but in the Afterlife movie there is a mine, and it says Shondo on it. Now, Ivo Shondo is, in the comic books, is the leader of the cult of Gozer. So that's been kind of haunting our Ghostbusters since the first movie, and I believe it's definitely going to have something to do with the third movie. That's why we see some of the original ghosts, I think, in the trailer. I think it's going to pay homage. I think the Afterlife movie is going to pay homage to the first film and bring the whole thing full circle. So I could really see them using Ivor Shondo as an action figure. He was seen in the video game of Ghostbusters, and he's also been seen in the comic books in recent years. So I think it would be great to bring him in, especially if he's going to be a part of the movie, or the movie's lore at least. That'd be a cool character to include in the line. Hello, Ghostbusters, what do you want? Do you remember Jeanine? Everyone loves Jeanine. But instead of having the usual version, every time we get a Jeanine figure, it's normally the receptionist version of Jeanine from the first movie. I want them to give Jeanine the Ghostbusters appeal. So I wanted to have the full Ghostbusters outfit on. In Extreme Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, the comic books, everything set after the movies, Jeanine is more or less a fully fledged Ghostbuster. I would love to have her in the proper Ghostbusters attire. I don't want to have her as the receptionist. I want her as the Ghostbuster. I was a big fan of the cartoon growing up, so I really think that would look really cool as an action figure, especially because there isn't many female characters that are heroes other than the female Ghostbusters, which not many people like. So I think Jeanine would be a great addition to the line that would sell, but would also be a nice female figure for us to have in that series as well, without it being a damsel in distress or a ghost. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to have a hero figure based on that character. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Next up is Kylie. Kylie's a character that's been around since the Extreme Ghostbusters, and she's also been featured in the IDW comic book. I'm just going to get my notes up here. She's been the manager of Ray's Occult Bookstore in the comic books, and is a support staff to the Ghostbusters. She was originally featured in the Extreme Ghostbusters, where she was a little bit more alternative and gothic, and I think by the time the comic books in the IDW comic books are rolled around, she's a little bit older. But either way, I would love to see this character recreated, whether it's in the Extreme Ghostbusters look or this new modern look for the comics. You know, as well, while I'm saying this about the comic book ones, because a lot of people will say, well, they'll look out of place with the Plasma series. They won't. You know how Black Series have managed to create the Rebels characters, but you can stand them with the regular figures and they look no different, because it's like photo real? They could very much do that with these characters. I think with the cartoon versions of them, if they gave them the photoreal faces, that would be really cool. Unless it was a whole wave of comic book stuff. But other than that, I think that if they did the photoreal stuff, then they could basically have comic book characters and the real characters cross over in the line. It would look just as good. Just like Star Wars have done. So that's where I think they should do that with Kylie. And maybe the Jeanine version. To give them the proper face look so they look like humans rather than comics or cartoons, but make them so they can stand with the original Ghostbusters. I think that would be a really cool way of progressing this line. Next up is another character that's been featured heavily in the comics and the cartoons. It's Samhain. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Samhain is the ghost of Halloween. Now, as you know, Samhain is a European folklore thing. Samhain is basically the pumpkin-headed essence of Halloween. That's what Sam from Trick or Treat is based on, Sam being short for Samhain. And it's an old, I believe, pagan thing. But basically he was the antagonist for many episodes of the real Ghostbusters cartoon series, and one of the few foes that the Ghostbusters actually faced more than once. So it would be really cool, and they have made figures of this in the past, so I know the licensing is great for this one. It has a long red sort of burgundy cloak and then the big pumpkin head with the like root-looking arms and stuff like that. It would be a very cool character, and with it, obviously, with it being that could be a seasonal release or an exclusive to celebrate Halloween. Obviously, Ghostbusters, it's a line that is associated with ghosts and occult and stuff. So having Samhain as one of the many characters could be based on Halloween. It could be a great figure that I think many people would buy because of who it is, if that makes sense. A bit like many people buy Sam from Trick or Treat because it's Halloween, it's nostalgic. I think Samhain would have that same appearance, that it's nostalgic enough and it's Halloweeny and people would like that figure. So that's my opinion anyway. But Samhain was a great character in the TV series, and he's recently crossed over to the comics, and there's different versions of the character in the comics. But either way, it would be great to see Samhain as a figure in the Ghostbusters line. The Scolari Brothers. I would love to see it either in the wave or as a 2-pack. Then release the Scolari Brothers on the electric chairs, or at least you could have them so that they could be removed from the chairs and then put back in, and they could even have a button on them that you press on the back of the chair and they light up. That would look so cool. And if they came on a big flight stand, so you could have it put at the bottom so it stood up so they were floating, that would look even cooler. Yeah, they're from the second Ghostbusters movie. They did get some form of toy release when the film came out, but they were like tiny accessories that came with the figures. I'm talking a fully fledged action figure, 6-7 inch version that came with a proper sittable electric chair and stuff like that. And imagine having a little button on the back that you throw, just like you throw the switch for the electric chair, and they started either making noise or they even, oh, do you know what? They could even light up and vibrate. That'd be awesome! Oh, I'm getting well excited, and this is probably never going to happen, but I'd love to see that. What do you guys think? Would you like to see that? Let me know in the comments. Now, how can we have a Ghostbusters line without Slimer? You thought I wasn't going to mention the big green guy. No, I'm going to mention him. It's Slimer. We need him in the series. He's had many, many figures over the years. I would love, because we've had many versions of him that look like the cartoon, I would love a proper photoreal version that looks like the one from the movies. And again, if it could glow in the dark or something like that, even better. But yeah, the NECA version, even though it was based on the movie version, to me, looked very comic booky and cartoony. I want a proper dark green Slimer from the movies. You know, the more modern appearance version that we've got of him. That would be really awesome. I'd love to see that. And again, with some really cool accessories, maybe you could even put the hot dogs in his mouth and they come out the bottom of him like they fall through, like in the film. Have it hollowed out at the bottom, so you put food in and food falls out. That'd be sick. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below of including Slimer in this series. And of course, last up guys, it wouldn't be a Ghostbusters line without Viggo. If you're gonna have Dr. Yanis at the beginning, you then need Viggo to finish off the line, in my opinion. Viggo, again, is a classic villain from the second movie. I know the Ghostbusters 2 movie isn't as fun as the first one, but Viggo is a damn serious villain. Obviously, I had his figure as a kid, and yeah, it's just a great figure to have, and I think would look perfect in the collection, especially if it came with his big portrait as well. That'd be sick. How cool would it be if they did it as like a Comic-Con exclusive or something, and it was actually, the figure was in the frame, stood in the frame, and then you can have physically make the character walk out of the frame. Oh, that'd be sick. So what are your thoughts guys on my picks for Ghostbusters? Let us know in the comments. And that's it guys, like that, that's all the time we've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this look at Ghostbusters and the figures that I want to see Hasbro create for the Plasma series going forward. If you enjoy these kind of videos and you want to see me do another take on another line, let me know in the comments down below. We could still do Marvel Legends, we could still do DC, there's many other lines we could do. Let me know what you want to see me talk about next in the comments down below. As always guys, I'm your host Supersol. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you!